Hey guys, I'm Nick Beliveau. Today we have Sandy Branco DeSouza with us. She's a health coach, a yoga teacher. She's taking part here in the ICmtl incubator. Inspiring person who's traveled a bit everywhere in the world, speaks multiple languages. So I'm very happy to have her on the show today. And thank you for being here.
Thank you for the nice introduction.
So, tell us a bit about you very quickly, what you've done before coming to ICmtl.
So I've been traveling most of my life, starting in my early 20s. So I've been traveling for more than 15 years now, everywhere. It started with program exchanges with university. And, once you start, it's really difficult to stop. I got that bite and that vaccine where, you always need that drug.
Yeah.
And at a certain point of my life, I was dealing with a serious skin condition.
Okay.
And I was very frustrated at the time seeing many doctors. So I actually started traveling to actually try to heal this condition I had. I started seeing doctors everywhere in Europe, in South America. And at a certain point, I gave up on conventional medicine.
Okay.
And through my travels in Asia, I started realizing there was so many alternatives to healing. I started knowing more about traditional Chinese medicine, about Ayurveda, which is an ancient medicine from India.
Okay.
And I started realizing all these therapies that are accessible. And by trying them out, I got to learn a lot about health and how your body, your mental, your emotions, it's all interlinked. And how treating all the different bodies that you have, so your physical body, emotional body, mental body, spiritual body, energetical body, how you can actually heal your condition.
Okay.
And that got me into yoga, meditation. So these were all at the end tools that were available to me. So I changed my lifestyle pretty much.
You were how old at this point about?
So I had this condition for 15 years, and I would tell you, I'm 36 now, and only about 5 years ago that I can say that I treated the problem, because it never came back. So it's been maybe now 5 years that I've feel like I've healed that problem.
Okay.
And it was fascinating how this experience brought me so much knowledge on health and on what to eat and how to deal with my stress. So all this experience, I told myself maybe I should do something with all of that. I was working in hotel business and tourism, and I really enjoyed it, but I felt there was something inside of me vibrating every time I was at work, telling me you have to do something else, like use all your experience and your knowledge to help people in different ways, because at the time I was always working in service, always helping people in different ways, but I want to help them in something more profound. So I decided to quit and take a leap of faith. I literally one day, 2 weeks before the end of the year 2015, I was telling myself, if I don't do something today, my next year will not change, will be something that I actually already know.
Yeah.
No surprises, nothing new. So I said, what can I do? So I just sent my letter of resignation at work with no plans. And I decided that, the universe will show me the way. Trust life. But to trust life, I had to learn to trust myself first. Yeah. So I said, okay, now I know it will be different. I just sent the letter. And then this new journey started where I started studying a health coach certification. It's integrative nutrition. It's an institute that is based in New York that you can actually study online. And the program is done in a way that you get to live the experience. Like, let's say you're gonna learn about all the diets that are out there, and you get to try a diet like at the time to see how it feels in your body. So I really like the approach. And because my experience, it's based on my knowledge is based on experience. So I like that how the program was done.
Okay.
And I got to learn a lot more. And so I did then a yoga teacher training in India. Yes, that's pretty much where I'm at right now.
So that brings you here today.
Exactly.
So why did you decide now, after doing those trainings, that ICmtl was the right fit for you?
So my lack of knowledge is more in technology. Because I realized today things work very differently from the time I was in school. So how can I reach a large amount of people and share my message, share my experience? Because to me, what's important, it's sharing actually. Sharing what I know, and it's a way for me to help others. So that's why I came here, and I also needed to organize my ideas, thinking of what is the best option for me to serve people with their health. I was thinking that maybe I was gonna put a program together, create a program for those people that are ready to commit and to put their health as a priority. A program where I can guide them through because it's not easy. I realize it's difficult to change your habits.
Definitely.
You know, you have an intimate relationship with the foods that you eat, your way of thinking, your limited beliefs, all of that. So it needs time, patience, and dedication. And I would like to be that person that guides you through all of this by actually doing things with you. It's the best way to integrate it as a new habit, because it's very difficult for someone who's never eaten certain foods to just give them recipes and tell them, okay, this is what you should try to eat from now on, but you've never actually cooked that, or maybe you don't really cook that much. So chances are the person will leave with these recipes and not look at it again. So I'd like to be that person that goes with you grocery shopping, that shows you the products. And, you know, I don't want to be negative, but it is a crazy world out there. The way, you know, when anybody starts a business, most of the time it's a good intention.
Yeah.
But the problem is, you realize if you want to stay in the game, you got to cut somewhere. You got to cut in the quality of the product that you're serving. So what happens is most of the things that you have on shelves are not necessarily good for you. And not because they are there and they're being sold that it means they're good for your health. So I want to be that person who will guide you through the grocery shopping, make you discover new things that can help you, and then go back home with you and prepare these things with you, show you how, depending on your context, if you have a family to feed, if you're by yourself, if you don't have time to cook, we'll find and pick things that are adequate for your lifestyle. And then you get to try these food, taste them, see how you feel with that, how it tastes. So the next times that I give you that recipe, you'll know exactly what to do and how to prepare it. It will be familiar.
And what to expect. Yeah.
Exactly. And you know, they say it takes about 6 months for you to integrate a new habit into your life.
I heard it was 21 days if you did it daily.
Actually, maybe motivation, but to actually not have to think about it, for it not to be a stress anymore. That, you know, just the same way you get up and first thing you do, you go to the bathroom, you brush your teeth, like most of the time.
Or drink a glass of water first thing when you wake up.
With a few drops
She gave
of
that
lemon.
tip. It's amazing. It wakes me up. I'm good for the day after that. It's great.
So yeah, so that's what I was told, that it takes actually 6 months, so it's not a stress and you don't have to think about it. So I want to be that person that is there to coach you and guide you through all of these,
Cool.
this like new beginning of a lifestyle that
healthier
is
lifestyle.
Exactly.
Okay. And have you ever had, because this is very entrepreneurial, right? You're trying to build your business, develop your customer base. Have you ever had an entrepreneurial experience in the past, or is this your first one?
It's my first one. I started working at 16, 17 years old. I always work for different businesses. So it's actually my first one, yes.
Okay. And how do you feel in that? Like, do you feel like an entrepreneur now, or and what's your perception of an entrepreneur?
You know, with my diet, I feel like an entrepreneur actually, because I like to learn to do things on my own.
Okay.
So, for instance, I've just recently learned how to make sourdough bread. So taking classes, learning, practicing at home, becoming independent, autonomous with the foods that I eat. So that to me is being an entrepreneur, is that you are independent, autonomous.
Yeah.
So I see the parallel with my diet, and this is what also I want to teach people. It's how to do things more on their own.
Yeah.
It's very important.
Be more self-reliant and entrepreneurial in the kitchen.
Yes.
Okay.
So I think this is what to me being an entrepreneur means. Yeah.
And then within your business and growing it, what do you see as the biggest challenge for you right now as an entrepreneur?
The challenge is on a personal level for me is to actually put myself out there.
Okay.
I think it's beyond shyness. It's really get that self-confidence to be able to go in front of the people and say, hey, here, I exist, I'm available, I want to help you out. Somehow this for me is the hard part. I tend to work more on reference, like word of mouth. And I'm when you don't know how to use something and do something, it's difficult. Once you know how it works, it's easy. So all this new technology as well that people use now in their business to do videos, to be more online, it's all new to me. So maybe because I'm not familiar with these tools, maybe it feels more difficult. So this is where I am right now.
Okay.
I'm trying to build my confidence, to expose myself, to have more exposure.
Yeah.
Because obviously, if you don't expose yourself, people don't know you exist.
Right.
Difficult to get clients.
And you have to know how to, brand yourself properly. I as a photographer, had a very, very hard time until very recently to even say I'm a photographer. I'd say, yeah, I do photography, but never brand myself as a photographer. I think it's because I come from a business background, and relating to now as an artist was difficult. And even now the word artist, I can't say. Photographer, I'm getting more comfortable with. But you have to own it and go out and not be afraid of what others think.
Share your truth.
Yeah, 100%. So now that we've been in the program for about almost 2 months now, what are the things maybe you're most proud of that you've accomplished on your project thus far?
I think that is the part where you get to reach out to people and interview them.
So you have been going out.
Yes, yes. getting to meet all these different women and hearing them about their struggles and about their lives and where they're at and what's going on with them, it's very inspiring. And I get to see myself in a lot of them. This is a good way, actually, to interviewing as many people as you can, to get to create in the end something that will be, you know, good for them. How can you better serve them, better help them out? Yeah. So, and I realized that one of the things that is a challenge for me is that most people seem to have the same problem, share the same struggle, is that they don't have time. Nobody seems to have time to take care of themselves anymore. So this is a challenge for me, you know. How can I tell people how important it is to take the time to do home cooking is important? Then maybe I can figure out ways to how can you do home cooking, but in an efficient way that doesn't take that much time. But yeah, so this is what I'm realizing are the challenges.
Yeah.
You know, if everybody keeps saying I don't have time to take care of myself, so how can you assist people in slowing down?
Yeah, and I think that applies in a bunch of different ways, whether it comes from traveling. A lot of people say, you know, if they work a full-time job, they have 1 or 2 weeks in the year, and people just end up not traveling until they retire, which is very unfortunate because you enjoy it much less than when you're young and energetic and willing to go out and move around.
You cannot climb the same mountains.
For sure. And then again, like with home cooking, companies like Good Food and Cook It, who are delivering meal kits to your house, you know, is kind of a way to reignite the home cooking movement, which I personally love cooking, but realizing as I'm, you know, getting older year after year, I'm cooking less and less at home because now it's just being more convenient and more affordable to eat out. So you definitely, have some interesting insights to learn, but I think what you're doing is super important. So at the end of the program here in 6 months, where do you see yourself? Like what do you want to accomplish?
I think to have a more defined idea of what program how I'm going to offer this program and what my program is going to consist of, with like the different services I want to offer. So maybe defining that better and having a website up, ready, rolling, going, so I can share it and have better exposure. And
so you said a website and
a program.
And a program.
Yes, that I can offer people.
Okay. What's like the simplest program that, like, if I were to give you a challenge like tomorrow, would you be able to come up like with the most simple, easy, basic program?
I think going to do groceries together, discovering new products together, how to prepare them, would be already a very simple program.
Okay. And then if day 2 I were to help you like set up a quick website in like 2 hours, would you want to do that with that program? And then what if day 3 I told you, now you have your program and you have your website, would you go ahead and get your first customer?
Yes, definitely.
So we're not, so, okay. So then in that approach, where are you in 6 months?
With that approach, in 6 months, I will be helping a lot of people.
I guess you will be.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
Well, thank you, Sandy. I'm very excited to see where you'll be in 6 months now.
Thanks.
Guys, we got a challenge now for
and
Sandy.
This is the great thing nowadays is collaboration.
There you go.
Yeah, it's the best way to serve the world, actually. It's by collaborating together.
Yeah, because I think, and this is kind of what we're discussing before we started recording, but how I think, you know, we set ourselves like timelines that are you know, stretched out, but oftentimes from an outside perspective, sometimes it could be really broken down into simple steps, small steps. But as the entrepreneur, we don't always realize that. And I fell into that trap a million times. But I'm curious to see if you're game. Like, I think in 3 days you could have your first customer and then grow
Thanks.
from there.
That's exciting.
Cool.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll see you again next week where we'll have Freddie and Bianca as well as Melissa on Wednesday. So it should be cool. Thank you once again, Sandy. And
Thanks.
we'll see you next time.